Hi, my name is Terry Lee from Sweet Pea Papers and the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group. This is video 9 in our series Let It Snow, which is our lamp book for Christmas of 2022. Now, I had to order another one of the 8x8s, and that was because I mainly had backing papers. If you remember this piece right here, I didn't really like, and the back is the brown. So that takes 3 pages out. We used 1 page, and I think we got rid of it because it was the brown. I think that was the flap in the first section that we took off. So, so I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. That's definitely not going to be enough for the whole 3rd section and 4th section. And I think I'm okay on the large pads. I have one of the solids and one of the pictures ones like this. Just remember, on the large ones, the 12 by 12s, the pictures are the same, but each picture is larger. So the items on each page are larger. Plus, I took 1 page of each of these. I took this and cut them up and made ephemera. Okay, so that reduced our number of pages as well, but in the small pad there's 3 of each page, and on the big pad there's only 2 of each page. So I just thought I would talk about that real quick. And then we've got section 1 done. We already talked about that. Now section 2, I believe I'm going to use this in section 4. I decided against going ahead and using it on the inside. Now, what I did since the last video that I just did off camera is on this the large backing piece, I added a large acetate pocket so you could see the whole paper. Now, in this one right here, in section 1, we added a hidden pocket that goes all the way across. That way you can put Christmas cards or something in there. So I'm not going to put anything in there, not even one of the blue placeholder cards. Then I also went ahead and put the ribbon on. We put it on the exact same way as we did on here, only I measured where it would go across the center between the 2 pockets. So I calculated where that would be. And that's where they ended up being glued on in the back, and then I threw a piece of Scotch tape over the top to hold them until the glue dried. Okay, so that's all I did on this. This one's going to go on the right side, and I'm going to show you in just a second what I mean by that. Let me stick it up here where it's not going to come off. And then this one is going to go on the left side. And this is on the right side and the left side of our big 3-inch center spine. Okay, so here's our cover. And the reason I'm bringing this back out now is that we need to calculate how much space we're going to have left in here once we put sections, the right section and the left section on. Then we still have to do this one, and then we have to do this one on the inside and on the inside. Okay, and then so we want to make sure that once we put, let's say the left one, once we put it on here, we have to calculate with the thickness, how thick it is, you know, against how deep the spine is. So let's see if I can stand it up without making a big mess. All right, so once you put this back here and you close this flat, oops, I'm sorry, then you see how much room you have left to work with on this page right here. All right, you're going to do the same thing on the other side. We could go ahead and put them in. You can put them in right now if you wanted to. But I'm going to wait until we have all 4 sections done. It's just me. I like to finish up at the end. Now, I had a little piece of paper in here that said left. And I don't know where it went. Okay, but anyway, that's what we're looking at as far as that goes. Also remember, you're going to need 4 cover pieces. So you're going to need the front, back, this inside one, and this inside one. Now, when you close the book up, if you put a journal in here, you're going to need to put two, so that you can have one behind here and one behind here. You don't want it to be in between, because then your book won't close flat. You're going to have just a flat cover on here with maybe some flat decoration on it, or it's not going to close flat together like this. Does that make sense? So I've already set those papers aside. We have 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's my paper. And then 4, 5, and 6 spines. So I set the paper aside for that too. So that's how I ended up with what I have left. So you might want to go ahead and do that ahead of time. We're going to make a little journal. So I set the cover graphics aside. And I believe I'm going to use the navy blue paper to make the cover and then decorate it. All right, so that's that. Now we're going to go on to section 3. Let me set this all in the safe zone. Okay, so we're going to go on to section 3. And this one, I actually had to write it all out. It's not that hard, but the measurements are different, because the 2 side pieces, let me go back to the cover, we're going to be putting them on this piece and this piece. So this is going to be left of the spine. So the left stack will go on there. This is going to be right. Okay, this is going to be far right, so that's what we're going to do now. Or right number 2, which seems more confusing. And then this one is going to be far left, and that'll be the last one that we do. And then we'll do the covers. Okay, now this isn't laying completely flat right now. I'm trying not to, you know, do too much with the spine. I've got it closing pretty well. And then the more I lay it out flat. Oh, also you'll notice there's a little indentation on this one. I don't know if you can tell or not. When I clipped, somehow it moved that a little bit. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure what happened. But once we put the papers on the inside, or the stack on the inside and the stack on the inside, papers on the outside, that should fix that right there. All right. Now, this is our backing paper. So since those 2 side ones were only 7 inches, this is going to be 6 3/4 to give us the 1/8 inch border all the way around. Now, we're going to have to cut some papers and glue them to this like we did the other bases. Now, what I want to do is, well, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the measurements, or we're going to cut the pieces for this. Then I'm going to stop the video and ink everything, come back, glue it, and we're going to cut the papers for page 1, which is going to be on the top. And then we're going to stop, and I'm going to ink everything. I am not sure how far we're going to get in this video. We're going to go as far as we can, and then we'll finish up page 1 in video 10, and see how that goes, because page 1 is a little involved. So it'll be fun though. All right, the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you've cut all your papers that you're going to be using to 8 inches. This is 8 inches tall by 6 3/4 wide. So you don't want these papers to be any taller than 8. So I went ahead and cut them to 8. Now we're going to have a flap on either side. Instead of doing our flap this way and then flap that way like we did on the other 2, this one is going to be a flap this way, a flap this way, and then we're going to add another flap to this one. So let's do that. the first thing we're going to do, I had to write this out, is we want to make this 6.5. So we're going to cut it to 7 because we got the 1/2 inch that's going to overlap. So this is going to be right. This is going to be left. This will be left 1. And this is the base. That way we can label them. All right, so we decided that we needed this to be 7 inches wide. I didn't want them to meet together in the center because the features we're going to put on the first page or something like that. Plus, flip-flap over completely. We needed space to make sure that we could close the one all the way. You know what? I had this right the first time. So that is 6 3/4. So that's going to make that 7 1/4, not 7. See, I've gone back and forth on this. It's crazy. Erase this 8. All right, so we need this to be 7 1/4. Oh, it's right in that area. 7 1/4. Save these. And then we're going to score it at a 1/2. And it doesn't matter which side you score it on. Okay, so now this is going to fold this way onto this. We're going to miter it, which means angle the corners. Could have done that a little bit better. Okay, now this is going to be here. So this is going to be the right. It's going to go here. You see it almost reaches, but not quite. That's not correct. It should be, though. Six 3/4 and a 1/2 is 7 1/4. This is an 1/8 bigger than that, it looks like. It's going to throw all my measurements for the front off. All right. We'll just live with that. I'll figure it out as we go. So then we want to cut another piece. We're going to have a flap on this side, and it's not going to be as far as that one. This one is actually going to be yeah, I think that's going to be all right anyway. So we want this to end up at 6 3/4. If we cut it to 7 1/4, it's going to come out like this anyway. So we should be fine. We'll just make the same mistake twice. 3 times. Okay, so then on this side, we want this one to equal 6 1/2. So we're going to cut a piece at 7. I can get this diagram worked out, I will add it to the PDF. That's the diagram for the cover, because this one's a little more involved, as you can see. Okay. I didn't do this for the others, so the measurements are in the PDF. If you're a member of the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, you get a free PDF with all the step-by-step instructions and the 2 diagram pages with the measurements that you're going to need to do certain parts of the book. Well, 3 diagram images. Okay, now we're going to score this one at 1/2. And put our scoring tool in. And this one's going to fold this way. Yeah, it's going to be even shorter. It's going to go on the underside of this one. So we're going to have this one coming off this side, this one coming off this side. Then we're going to add another piece to the edge of here that's going to fold in. So we want it to be 4.5 inches wide. How wide is one of these scraps we've got here? 4 inches. 3 3/4. Okay. So I'm erasing the 8s off here that I wrote. I wanted to remember which ones I had cut and make sure those were the ones I used. It doesn't matter, it's going to be papered over, but still. So now I need a 4.5. That'll give us all the papers for this section. I'm going to score it at 1/2. Did I mire the corners on this? No, I didn't. The reason we're doing all these with the white paper is we did that on all the others, so we had the blue ink. So we're going to play with that Uncharted Mariner again. And I have a work shirt on over my t-shirt, so I don't get any of the blue ink on me or on my shirt. So this is going to go like this. We'll mire these corners. Just kind of hides them a little bit at the top and bottom of the page when you're looking at it. Okay, so we're going to ink all this. I can't believe, I thought for sure this was 6 3/4. It is. So how did this not come out right? because it's not quite 6 3/4. Yep, it's an 1/8 short. So I'm going to recut this one at 6 3/4 because I really want the other page to be the way I measured it. And I'll save this for something else, which I'm sure we'll use because we're going to be cutting quite a bit. Okay, so let me cut another one to the right size, and I can do that off camera. And then we're going to ink the edges of everything. Don't forget to ink here, and make sure you ink along here just in case you see a little bit of it once you've glued it on. You want to do the front, the back, and the seam on both sides on all 3 pieces. And then I'll see you back here in just one little tiny sec. Okay, so now I've got this all inked, and we're going to go ahead and glue everything together, and then we'll cut the pieces for this right here. So even though this goes on here, we're not going to have the flap like this to where it looks like doors. Okay, we're not going to have it like this, like you would think. We're going to put this way. So let's glue this on. We're going to be doing a couple of things on this front section, 1 or 2 of which may be decorative. I'd like for them to hold the parts together that I want it to hold, but I'm not sure if it's going to or not. So we will just have to wait and see. So we're going to be using some magnets, and we're going to be using some of the Tim Holtz, they call them spinners, but they look like arrows. Sort of looks like one hand of a clock. You want to make sure to get this all straight, of course. No, let's glue it on crooked. That would be more fun. And we're going to glue this on. Gosh, getting glue everywhere. So you're going to glue it so it folds back on itself, not underneath. Check it for any glue seepage. And you see why we miter the corners. That way it looks like a book corner on the inside, just like you cut the corners when you're putting cover on. Oh, speaking of that, here's this crazy gizmo. Look at the color. I don't know, it looks neon when you have it in person. And it's called Perfect Trim Ruler. And what it does, I'm not going to go into a tutorial on it now. Maybe the next time I make a cover. It shows you where to cut the paper so that you have a perfect corner every time when you fold it in when you're papering your book covers. It's the coolest thing. It was $14, I think, including postage. So let me tell you that one more time. Perfect Trim Ruler, all one word, .com. Lady's real nice. Okay, the lady's very nice. But their lady's real nice. Thought I had gotten rid of my accent. I used to have a southern accent. I was born in Michigan, so I had a Michigander accent, whatever that is. And I'm going to glue this to the back. Remember, not to this, because we're doing it different this time. Doing it different. Okay, and you want to make sure this is straight. And you see it goes all the way over. And I'll be honest with you, I ended up adding an 1/8. I don't know why. I measured this, and then I just ended up laying the paper on there. I don't know why. I mean, a 1/16. I don't know if for some reason the fold on this side was just taking up an extra 1/16 or what. I don't know. So that's going to be there. This is going to fold over like this. This is going to be the top of our section. Now we're going to have a double flip down with a flip out, a double flip out, and they're going to have a flip out. And that's going to be our section. And we're going to use those spinners to try and hold this shut, but we're going to put magnets in as well to magnetize everything to each other. So if we use magnets that we end up not needing, they'll be taped to the back. We will be able to recover half of them. Unless we figure it out before we put any paper on. Okay, so on this part, let's see, I'm trying to think. Let's do the flip down. So we need two pieces, 4.5 inches by 6 3/4 inches. I'm going to get these two mistakes out. So I want to start at the half mark because we've got this 1/2 inch flap. Then I want to go over 4 because 4.5 was the measurement including the 1/2 inch. So then I want to go over to 4. Is that right? No, it's not right. All right, let's go from here. I don't know what's wrong with my brain today. And then just cut it at 4.5. We'll just rescore it. My brain's not working this morning. I started writing all this out last night. Now this one, we're going to score it on the long side. This is only going to be this wide. So let's measure that. That should be 6 3/4. We're going to score it along the long side, 1/2 inch. And that should give us a 4-inch flap, the width of the paper. This flap's going to fold down. Let's just do this. So we're going to put it on the bottom. You can see the ink all over me. Well, obviously, I don't even think I had to make that statement. So we want 6 3/4 by 4.5. And that should be right. So this one's going to flip down. Oh, we don't have to worry about that. It's going to be like this. And then we're going to need another one exactly the same size. So we want it 6 3/4 by 4.5. Let's get my other messed up one, which is see if we can get it out of this piece. Okay, so let's label this bottom one. Darn it. Four and a half. Do that little debacle. Score it at 1/2. And cut it 6 3/4 wide. Or because everything's been acting goofy, so now this one, remember this one is going to flip up. Remember to only get this front page hooked when you glue it. So then we're going to open it down, and then this one's going to open down again. But we want it to fold up inside. So it's going to go like this. So when this is closed, I think we may have to cut a 1/16 off so it doesn't bind. Much better. Okay. Then we're going to need two flaps going this way, and they're going to have flaps on the inside too. So before we get too many pieces going, I'm going to stop for 1 second, ink these, and then we can glue them. All inked up. Okay, so now we want the bigger one. Ah, look. I missed that same side on both sides. I don't know what the odds of that are, but okay. Even more blue. I'm so blue. Okay, this is the longer one. So it's going to go on first, and it's going to go on like this. It's going to flip down this way. So we want to glue it here. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but this is, oh, you saw it at the beginning, the pad. It's Graphic 45, Let It Snow. Or pads multiple, as the case may be. You want to make sure you can close it here. Okay, now this one, which way do I want to do it? Do I want to do it this way? Because that way when you open it down, then it opens again. I'm pretty sure that's how I want to do it. Better make up my mind really quick. I'm going to have to make a note in my notes that we got farther than I thought in video 9. So I'll have to make a note so that I don't forget to add the so-called directions. Make sure this is all straight. Okay, so now we've got that. So now we also want to add a flip out here. This would work. So we want it to be this width plus 1/2 inch. It should be 6 3/4. It should be 7 1/4. The reason I marked it is because it's right there in that spot right there. It's really hard to get a good cut, so I marked that on the paper. That's how I fixed it last time. Cut that off. Score it at 1/2. You could do 1/4 if you wanted. You know, score it at 1/4, make this 1/4 of an inch shorter. But I like to make it 1/2 inch. Just makes it a little more sturdy, I think. Doing a lot of reaching. Let's double check this. Should I ink this while we were... Yep, that looks good. I'm not going to stop it again. I can do this fairly quick. So this is what you should be doing when I pause the video. That should be good. Kind of a crazy inker with this color. That's how I kind of get it everywhere. You want to make sure you go back at least 1/8 of an inch with your inking. So your paper's going to go up that far. Okay, so now we're going to glue this on. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a nice big fat front part to our section 3 or our far right. Okay, so we're going to glue this on here. You can either line it up with the bottom or the top. I'm going to line it up in the center or close to the center. That way I know for sure all my folds will be okay. Alright, and that's that section. Now, we need to do some magnets. These are what the spinners look like. They're not very expensive at all, and you get 3 different sizes. This is the size we'll probably end up using. I think this is the last pair at this size that I have. I'm going to have to buy some more. This size right here. There's also the bigger size, which I don't think we'll need that size. They come with their own little teeny brads that fit them. Little teeny ones. So now let's do the magnets. Now we want to do the magnets. You don't want to do them where you think you want to do them. When you go to fold this up, you can't just put them here. Well, I guess you could. No, because from the side, you'll notice if you put them here, then this is not magnetized. You know, there's a magnet doesn't hold here. So you have to put them here underneath. You have to put them here. So when you flip this up, then this is magnetized to that. So let's put them there. This is just going to reinforce the spinners holding it shut, which I'm not sure. You think this section's going to be plenty thick enough that the spinners will hold it, but I'm not sure. And then putting 2 instead of just 1 in the middle. Then we're going to flip it up. Flip it over. And that's where the magnets are on the front side. We need to take these down. That's why if the magnets don't hold, and we end up having to do something else, which I'm not really sure what else we would be able to do other than those spinners. Okay. And then right. Okay, then that folds down like that. Now if you want, you can use a magnet to hold this in. But I think it'll be fine because it's inside here. Now you want to make sure that you don't have a problem with these. So let's put that about there, and that should be fine. Did I say out loud I buy them by the hundred, so I might as well use them? Or did I just say that in my head? Okay. Okay, that should glue that up. Now, the paper isn't very thick, but we're going to have several layers, and you're going to have cards, so that's why I don't think the magnets are going to hold. So we're going to put the spinners here, yeah, to hold it shut. Yeah, that's definitely going to work. Gosh, we might actually need the bigger ones. Which means we got to paper this first and then put the spinners on because they're held on with brads. So, yeah. So let's make the doors that go here. You want it to be halfway. So this is the center right here. So it's already got a flap on it. We want it to be right above this. And this will be the correct width for both. Yeah, it should be. So this one miscut we may be able to use for our two flaps. Got any two more flaps too. Can't believe we're getting all this done. I'm kind of zooming along. Yeah, that's not going to work. Oh, but we're going to cut it in half this way. Okay, now I think in order for the spinner to kind of stick out and go through and not make a lump, I think we're going to make it just a little bit shorter, a little bit softer now, a little bit louder now, a little bit shorter now. Oh boy, now you know why I don't sing. I don't remember which one it is. Are they equal? Almost. But the bigger one is the right one. Or the correct one. And it is. I wonder what would happen if we made them the size of the shorter ones. The arrows have dimension, so in order for them to stick out, we have to give them a little bit of space since we're putting them underneath and not on top. So if I just cut that crooked, kind of felt like it slid. We'll know if they turn out to be the exact same size. This piece right here seems crooked. Now, the one on this side has to go around both, just like this one did. Or no, that one went through one, but this one's going to be a little bit thicker. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, we're going to use magnets anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, these are the same size. What is going on with that? It looks straight at the bottom. Definitely not straight at the top. So I'll trim that. Alright, I'll ink these two. All you need to do to finish up this section is to ink these two. Here's your flip down. And glue them right up here. So just ink them and glue them up here, even with the top. Make them straight. Even with the top. You can make them where they meet exactly. I think I probably will, now that I look at it. So I'll trim a little bit off the one. And that way they meet right in the middle. Anyway, and that's all you have to do to finish this section. Oh no, it isn't. We have 2 more flaps, but we don't have enough time. So ink these 2 and put them on. And then when we come back in the next video, we got way farther than I thought we would. So we'll do the 2 little flaps that are left. Then we'll start working on papering all this. And I probably will get a 3-day weekend for this, or 2 days off, because the paper's not going to be here till Monday. So, you know what? Let's just go over an hour a little bit and get it done. Seems silly to not do it. All right, I'm going to show you what we need. We need 2 more pieces that flip out. No, that flip under. So let's see what I have here. All right, let's cut this piece in half. See what we have. Score them at 1/2. I don't think they're going to be, well, it doesn't matter as long as they're the same size. When they flip in, they'll be the same size, and we can use them. That way we used up a scrap, which is always helpful. So these are going to go like this. Oh, I gotta cut this. I'm definitely going to have to, oh, this other little piece broke off. That's why it keeps coming up. Oh, no, it didn't. Anyway, I'm going to have to try to glue it with something. Okay. You're going to fold the ones you just scored. Let's label these 1 and 1. We're going to erase all these little markings, but we just want to make sure that we know what we're doing while we're doing it. So 1 is going to be the front, 2 will be the flip. So if we flip this under here, oh wow, look at that. That's perfect. Because it's going to go like this. So this will open like this. And then this will open like this. Just like the flip down at the bottom opens and opens. Okay, so you're going to want to ink both pieces. Make sure you miter all the corners when you cut them. Now, it's just your personal preference as to how wide you want these. Okay, and then this is 6 3/4, so the center is just going to be half of that by the height you want it, and the width is going to be 6 3/4. Half of that's going to be what, 6 5/8 plus a half for your fold. So you're just going to do the same thing on both sides. So you're going to miter these, cut them to fit so that they meet in the middle. Put it all the way to the top. You're going to glue this. And then you're going to glue this. Your little glue will be on the front where you can see it. This looks a little long. How did I think it was right? Anyway, You need to make them the same size or a little smaller on the flip end. So it looks like I need to cut like a quarter. They were the same size as each other, not... My stomach's growling again already, and I ate. Are you guys eating again? Is that why I'm hungry? I swear one of these days I'm going to come right to the camera and you guys are going to get it. You're going to get it. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay. This goes on here. Flip this over. This goes on here. Glue this here. You glue that there, and you ink everything first. So that's your homework, should you choose to accept it. So then when it's done, you're going to have this double flip here on both sides. It's going to be like a cupboard, kind of. Okay. Okay, so that's going to be in the middle. Then this is going to flip. Remember, this flips out, but then it flips up, and then it flips up. There's a little gap there. Our little spinners will go here and here to hold the final big piece together. I'm pretty sure these magnets aren't going to do it once we get paper and cards in. Once again, I'll be using blue placeholder cards. I just don't have enough of the kit papers or the pad papers to make cards. So whatever I have left, I'll go back and make cards. But if you give it as a gift, you can put the blue cards in there and people can put photos on them. That's just a thought. Or you give them a white pen and you can write on them. Okay? All right. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video. And that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay. Bye-bye.